Well, good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to the Idiot Council podcast. I am once again, per tradition, idiot number 1, and over on my right is idiot number 2. Coming to us once again, live from the above average, undersized state of Illinois. So, some of the things that we've briefly touched upon in the previous episodes has been that me and Em, we sort of have a shared history in some aspects, in the way that we are both content creators. We've both primarily made Minecraft content, and we've done 2 SMPs together as far as I know, Shamblecraft and Autocraft.
Does Phali count?
I would say Phali is Shamblecraft Season 0 canonically.
Okay.
Fair. So we've done at least 2 SMPs together, but we've also played on a ton of servers together without making videos.
Yes.
So to get a sort of little break from the very deep cuts that we've covered in the last couple of episodes, we figured, hey, why don't we talk about, Minecraft and content, and a little bit about our history in creating content and hopefully a bit more lighthearted than talking about, mental health and burnout. Despite the fact that Minecraft was one of the active reasons for the burnouts in both cases. But we're going to gloss over that part. So Minecraft and content, and I think Minecraft is a good place to start. So having already been the one talking for a couple of minutes, Em, why don't you share a little bit about your content journey, Minecraft journey? Where does the Emerald Storm Minecraft story begin?
Oh god. In an apartment in Kansas in 2015, where my boyfriend at the time had a PS4, and we were both playing Minecraft on split screen, because I could not get past the GTA 5 tutorial. I was that bad.
The GTA 5 tutorial?
I could not get through you have to drive to get through parts of the tutorial. I could not pass.
I've played GTA 5 a number of times, and I don't recall the tutorial being all that hard.
That should tell you something, shouldn't it?
It should, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
you look distraught and confused.
Speaking of GTA 5, you know who's on the radio in GTA 5?
Is it David Bowie?
It's David Bowie.
This is gonna be like Gilk. It's never gonna go away.
Gilk and David Bowie.
Match made in heaven.
That's gonna be on your tombstone. You have the stories of the people, putting the mum's cookie recipe on the gravestone. You're also just gonna say Emerald Storm didn't know who David Bowie was. And it's gonna.
Well, if it's a Gilk and Bowie combo, we've got Creamy and Dreamy covered. So I don't even know what to say for myself. I feel
like it's like going to the Beatle Museum in Liverpool and pointing at the John Lennon statue, like, who's that? Anyway, Minecraft. So, to circle back, so you were failing at the GTA 5 tutorial.
Yep, utterly. So, we were playing Minecraft together, and I was really, really sick of the split screen thing because we only had the one TV and the one PS4. So I went out and I bought myself a TV and I bought myself a PS4. And I just started playing Minecraft. And so if I was off, I was on PS4 playing Minecraft. If I didn't know what I was going to do with myself, PS4 with Minecraft, and I had my own little gold controller that was super cute. It has since been eaten by someone.
Dog cameo.
Oh, they'll eventually make their way up. You might see Maya sniff my elbow and I'll shit myself.
I was very concerned there until you said elbow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
why
so...
are we like this?
I don't know. But then from there, I started watching Hermitcraft through Mumbo Jumbo. And at one point, I had moved out of my apartment and I was staying at my parents' house in preparation for getting married because, like, I'm not going to sign another year-long lease if I'm about to move.
Yeah.
So I'm chilling, watching Mumbo. I fall asleep and I wake up, and on my screen is this weirdo named Joe Hills.
And it's actually Joe's birthday today. So happy birthday, Joe, if you're watching this, which you probably aren't.
Oh, shoot. I forgot Joe's birthday was July.
Joe is indeed... Joe has indeed aged today. So happy birthday, Joe Hills.
Woo.
And if you're watching this in recording, happy birthday 2 weeks ago, Joe Hills. Or if you're watching this, not the day it was if you sod off, happy birthday, you twat.
Somebody please clip that and just put it in Joe's Discord.
Just that clip, happy birthday, you twat.
Amazing. Yeah, but I woke up and Joe was on my screen and I was like, this dude's kind of funny. So I started following Joe and I showed up to streams on Mixer.
Ah, yes.
Which, throwback, #Murgy,
Represent.
was a wild ride. So I was there in late 2018, early 2019, just hanging out, vibing, and then I got my job at a local Kroger, and I was like, cool. I'm gonna work here for a couple months, and I'm gonna use some of this money that I'm making to join the Joe Hills Patreon. And so I started playing PC Minecraft on my parents' Mac downstairs. And just immediately, anybody that plays Minecraft on a Mac is a lesser individual, in my opinion.
I mean, playing Minecraft on a Mac is most definitely a choice you've made in life.
Doing anything on a Mac.
They said being a MacBook user.
Oh no.
I also it needs to be said, this is sort of a sideline, but Macs have developed a bit. Macs are now pretty good. Even for gaming, they've sort of come a long way. But the thing that still annoys me with Macs is that it's a very expensive symbol of status. Like, you can get a Windows-based laptop that's just as good as a Mac for half the price. But it depends on what you're doing. Like, I own a MacBook Pro, a super expensive MacBook Pro that's fortunately got paid for by my job, which is, I think it's like £5,000, $5,000-ish, the one I have. Well, when it was new, it was $5,000. But it's because I use it for very heavy video and photo work, So they decided, since they're not really paying me for my time doing it, they decided, well, at least we're going to buy a computer that you can do it on, which was nice of them.
Makes sense.
But yeah, we basically started around the same time then, in terms of, our sort of entrance into the Joe Hills Patreon, which is where we met. That was where we met. My Minecraft story actually goes back a bit, almost funnily far back. So my first foray into Minecraft was, I'm not going to say accidental, but it was kind of like something that was literally handed to me and that I didn't really have much of a say in. This was in 2010. I had just finished high school, And back then, I was, hold on, you might want to sit down for this. Back then, I was a pretty massive nerd. I know, it's shocking. And I was a nerd, but without the makeup and the leather, and the choker. Very happy with these chokers. They are great 90s vibe.
Can you do like a snap real quick? Like pull it on, just
like that.
Waiting for string delay. Yeah. There you go.
You have some very, very weird kinks. So I was a massive nerd, and back then we still had. Well, this was like pre-Discord, so when you had gaming communities, they were usually based around forums. For the OGs here who are old enough to remember PHP BB forums, and one of those gaming communities that I was in was a UK-based gaming community called Furious Gamers or Furious Angels. They use sort of both names. And I had become affiliated with them when I started playing World of Warcraft back in 2005, 2006-ish, when I was 16. And I joined their guild because I was like, I need some cool people to play with, because this was an MMO. And we started playing together, really cool people. I eventually sort of got bored of World of Warcraft, but I kept, in touch with the community. We played a ton of games together. I probably have 500-600 hours of Team Fortress 2 with these lads. And this takes us to 2010, when Dave, who ran this community, simplifying his name so people can't Google him, but Dave got an email from a very unknown Swedish company called Mojang, directly from Notch. Back then, Mojang had 2 employees. It was Notch and another dude. And Notch he sent out to a bunch of gaming communities that were pretty big, that were big enough. And Furious Angels had a pretty big membership. Like, hey, I've made a game called Minecraft. It's a pretty cool game, but we want more people to play it, and we want more people to write reviews and do stuff with it and see if they like it and give us feedback. Would you be interested in some keys that you could give to your members? And Dave said, sure, I'll take a couple. And he was sent, I think, 30 or 40 keys for the game. And he asked, so he just put up a thread saying, hey, I've gotten an invite, a bunch of keys for this game called Minecraft. Is this something people would be open to trying? And we were like, yeah, that sounds cool. So he sent each of us a key, and we got a free copy of the game. And Dave set us up a server, and we played. It was either the final version of the Minecraft Alpha or the first version of the Minecraft Beta. And it was basically creative mode only. You had a very limited block palette. There were no mods. So if someone took TNT and blew your shit up, it was gone. No such thing as core protect or anything like that. And we played around with it, and it was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty fun. It's like a very fun sandbox game that no one else had really done anything like that at that time. But I remember the game had, the learning curve for Minecraft back then was super steep. It was basically here's the game, we're not going to explain anything, we're not going to give you any pointers, good luck. So, so in the email, Notch had told Dave that, hey, he recommended go to YouTube or Google Video, because Google Video was still a thing, and find videos of people playing it and learn from that. And you could also check the Minecraft wiki, which was, and still is, run mainly by Mojang people. So I remember I went to YouTube and I found a bunch of videos and looked at those, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks okay, this looks simple enough. And we played around, we had a bunch of fun. And this takes me to probably 2 years later. I can't remember exactly when. Back then, YouTube didn't have a For You page. Like when you went into YouTube, you basically had whatever's trending in random videos. You didn't have like proper recommendations. But what you'd get an email once a week with video recommendations and new videos from the people you follow. You'd get an email once a week.
An email?
Yes, you get an email from YouTube with like, hey, here's the thing. Here's what's new. And I remember in the email, and I have a screenshot of this. Future Phali in the video put the screenshot on the screen of the first email where I was recommended a video that I was very intrigued by an English chap called Izumavoid. And I clicked into his video and I watched the Izumavoid video and I was like, oh, you know what, this was pretty fun. He was a lot more low energy at the time. It was basically, 2024 Izumavoid, but with a lot more Ritalin in his system. And he was very low key, but while low key, he was also very sort of like down to earth, chill. He had a vibe that I really, really enjoyed. And that sort of, at this point, I hadn't really played Minecraft in a while. So I got back into Minecraft, and what I found out was that Izumavoid, he had a plot world server. He had a creative mode server where you could basically build and have fun. And I joined that, and I played on the Izumavoid plot world server for a while pretty early on. And if you're wondering how early I was on the Izumavoid plot world server, I was such an early donator supporter of the plot world server that when he started up his Discord, he had to manually set up all my roles because all of my donations and stuff were so far back in time that they weren't recognized by patrons' automatic Discord system. That's how far back I go. Like, I'm ancient.
We know.
Yeah, I am ancient. I remember when the world was in black and white, which was very much better.
Oh my god.
But
when all logs were oak.
Yes, when all logs were oak and we only had cobblestone. And somewhere in California, Sammy's waking up in a cold sweat. So
it is about that time.
It's the time where the mention of cobblestone will, like, yeah. So I was in Izumavoid's server for a good bit, and I'm gonna sort of skip ahead a bit, and we get to 2019, early 2019. I'm gonna say February, March-ish, 2019. When, for reasons I'm not gonna go into here because I consider it water under the bridge, I and several other people leave Izumavoid's server and community altogether, and we were like, well, where do we want to hang out now? So at this point, Discord is a thing. I was in Izuma's Discord. I was in a couple of other smaller Discords, but Izumavoid's Discord had sort of been my main community. And for those of you who don't know or haven't picked up on it yet, I am extremely socially awkward. I very, very much struggle with making friends and acquaintances. I'm like, oh, if I find it too awkward, or what's the other word? What's the word I'm looking for? If I find it too awkward or, and not embarrassing, but I can't think of any other word. If I find it too awkward or out of my league to make an acquaintance or make a friend, I just remain alone because that's easier. So for me, losing my main community was a bit like, well, I guess I'm just not going to talk to people then. And fortunately, one of the other people who left at the time, she sort of dragged me along into, well, there are other hermits we can join and support. And I was like, well, all right, who do you have anyone in mind? Like, well, there's Joe. Joe's been on Hermitcraft since season 1. We could support him instead. And I had seen a bunch of Joe's videos, and I was like, oh yeah, Joe seems like a very cool dude. So why don't we join Joe's server? And me and her and a couple of others joined, with varying results. Some of us are still there. Some of us are now marrying the man. And yeah, so
I didn't know about some of that either.
Yeah, results may vary. As they say in American medical ads, results may indeed vary. But yeah, we joined Joe's Discord, I think it was in March of 2019, and that's basically where me and you meet. When we joined Joe's Discord, you joined a couple of months before me.
Yeah.
And it was just such a cool community, still in it. Still one of the communities in which I'm the most active, honestly. And I think that's sort of where my sort of interest and love for Minecraft really sparked up again. Because in Azuma's server, I'd played a little bit, but hadn't played that much. I played for the last couple of months before I left. And it had sort of a little bit reignited my love for Minecraft. But at the same time, I didn't feel at home in Azuma Void's server, not because of Azuma Void, but because I was very late to the party. I sort of joined a server that was, and you know that when you sort of, you know that feeling when you feel like you walk into a conversation that's already ongoing, and you're like, I shouldn't be here. I'm encroaching on these people's conversation now. I felt like that. It was like I've now entered into a space where everyone has already found their place and I don't have a place, and I am now very much encroaching on their space. So yeah, like I said, very socially awkward. But joining Joe's place, it was very different. You felt very much at home straight away, and we started playing together on Sixfinity, I believe it was called, because
because it was a long season.
That was a long season, and of course, for those of you who wonder, Sixfinity is that a weird name for a season? Well, don't worry, Sixfinity is one of the more logical names. You see, now, all right. So, gentles and ladymen, why don't I tell you about a internet phenomenon that we call the Joe Hills difference?
Here we go.
Because you see, there are 3 ways of doing things. There's the right way, the wrong way, and the Joe way. And the Joe way basically is like if you're redoing a kitchen, the right way to redo a kitchen would be, getting planning permissions, looking at colours, looking at furniture, getting second opinions, getting quotes, doing it step by step, making sure everything is up to code. The wrong way of doing a kitchen renovation would be to just take a sledgehammer to the kitchen wall, do your own plumbing because you watched two YouTube videos, so you know what you're doing, and eventually ruin your house. Got it. Yeah, eventually ruin your house. The Joe way is to say you don't need a kitchen and just buy a microwave and put it in the living room. Or, build a campfire in the yard and a pot. That's the Joe way of taking care of the kitchen. And I have to say, I love Joe. Joe is a very, very cool dude. And like I said, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Joe. And but yeah, that's sort of where our paths cross. So, and I mean, I have to ask, and I think this is a fun question. What is your, and we're really opening up a can of worms here. I'll have to consider in the edit if I can include this. What is your first distinctive Phali memory?
God. It's gotta be eating pufferfish in the basement of your Minecraft build. with a few other people that were on the server at that time, or the realm at that it was.
Yeah. So
Pufferfish in the basement.
I remember that. And eventually it developed into chorus fruit when that was introduced. I sadly can't continue that joke, otherwise Spotify won't allow this. But that was the thing that I remember very distinctly about this, was that I didn't really have a say in it.
Exactly why it's funny.
It was basically like I built this very gorgeous modern house. I might have screenshots. If I do, future Pat Phali put it on the screen. I built this very cozy modern house that I was honestly proud of. And for the record, this was a realm. This was before Joe made a proper server. So this was a realm. We had max 10.
We didn't even need it as a server yet.
It was a tiny, tight-knit community. And it was basically like, there were max 10 people on the realm. And it was basically, people would just write in the server channel, like, hey, is anyone planning on logging off soon? Because I wanted to hop on. And people would be like, oh, I can hop off and do something else. It's fine. You take my spot. It was like a group. It didn't feel like a community in the way a community sort of often feels on Discord. It felt like just a very big group of friends.
Yeah.
But I just remember that, like, I made this very cute modern house. And suddenly there were a bunch of people in my basement. Like, yeah, hey, we're doing a thing here now. Like, okay. Like, yeah, you don't really have a say in this. And there were withers. No, not withers, but what they call the bats? Phantoms, lightning strikes. And people kept complaining. There was, of course, the torch incident. I'm pretty sure you remember the torch incident.
Yep. Indeed.
Where people were complaining. That sort of one of the, well, not complaining seriously, but like haha complaining. Jokingly complaining. That I never liked my builds. I never liked my builds.
Because you don't.
You don't. No, I mean, never before have I been this offended by something I 100% agree with. I am notoriously bad at lighting my builds. It is well established that I am terrible at lighting my builds, sadly. And the thing is that I logged on, and I remember I'd logged out outside of my base because I think I was doing some terraforming, and this was a very small server. Like, it was like in terms of area, it was very small. So it was basically like if you had one of the mods with the render distance, you could basically see everyone's base from my roof. That was how small it was. It was very like small and tight knit. And I just remember I was doing some terraforming to try and I was doing some terraforming to try and make it sort of fit in well, and I'd logged out. And I logged back in the other day, and every single block, and I mean every single block, screenshots, future Phali, here. Every single block of my house was covered with torches. There were, if I remember correctly, someone said 3 shulker boxes worth of torches.
That sounds about right. Inside, outside, the yard.
My fish farm. The fish farm, this was when we still had fish farms. It was just covered.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to deal with this. And it was just the funniest thing. And that was the thing that was so funny about it, was that it wasn't like it was like a friendly prank. And it was like a friendly prank in the way where they even, I think they said that they'd even asked Joe, like, hey Joe, is this going too far? And Joe had basically said, you know what, it's Phali's own fault for not lighting up his builds. And I believe he even joked about it with, I think he joked about it in a stream. Like, I think he'd said, they were talking about something. I think he said like things you could see from space included the Chinese, like the Great Wall of China and my house, because of all the torches. And
yeah, indeed,
that was sort of, yeah, good lord. So yeah, so the basement is your first distinctive Phali memory.
Yeah, that, and then torching your house, which was super fun. And then I logged in to a prank that Phali played on me with the help of Space and
Strange.
One other Strange. Yeah, Strange. Yeah, because I had to go find their minds to prank them.
Ironically, the two people who helped me prank you were also part of the torch team that pranked me.
As they should be. All things are cyclical.
Yeah.
But I logged in and there was a giant chest boat parked right behind my base in the ocean.
You know, they call that motorboating in Tennessee.
Oh my god. Are we allowed to talk about that on Spotify?
Spotify doesn't get the reference.
Well, I know, but like, tell the story behind it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, yeah. Back, there was an update. It was the same update where we got phantoms, and they added, or they were talking about adding, chest boats as an option for the swamp update.
Yeah, it was
and so we were all talking about it.
What was the? It was frogs. There were three. There were frog, chest boat, and one more.
Chest boat. We were voting for biomes, so swamp that came with chest boat, and there was Savannah and one other, I think. I'm gonna
vote for the biome we update next. It was because it was the one with the chest boat. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, but it's not the one where we got the chest boat, because we did not get the chest boat. It lost.
Oh, here we have the 2019 vote.
Yeah.
You had the option of Badlands, which added the what's it called? The bird that wants to kill you.
Ostrich.
No, not that one. The one that was it the condor? The one that eats. The one that eats you after you die.
Vulture.
Vulture, that's the one. And swamp had chest boat, and mountains had goat, and mountains and goat won.
Yeah. Boo.
And that sort of developed into the running chest boat joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
which was hilarious.
Essentially, what had happened was we were talking about the chest boat, and I was like, oh, this would be great, chest boat would be fine. And Joe Hills pops in absolutely randomly and goes, we call that motorboating here.
Yeah.
And should I say, who doesn't know what motorboating is? Rusty doesn't.
At this point, I'm going to say, if you don't know what motorboating is, ask Google or your parents.
Or DM me, it's
or
fine.
DMM. DMM for motorboating. DM.
That's gonna get clipped. Alvin's gonna clip that. Alvin, when you clip that, can you send it directly to me? Because I need to rip the audio from that for reasons. We just make Elvin do all of our work.
Elvin, the official Idiot Council secretary at this point.
Just the DMM for motorboating.
Speaking of M, I think my first distinctive M memory is probably the chest boat prank. The chest boat prank was pretty funny. It was, and of course the brown cheese saga.
I remember that.
The brown cheese saga.
That was after I got married.
Yeah,
as well.
that
so
was
that
a bit
was like
later.
the following year.
Yeah, that was a bit later. And I also remember it might have been the debut of Naked M. That was pretty hilarious. And that I remember was on the Realm. Because I remember a not to be named other person was streaming from said realm when you turned up, and you were wearing the Naked M skin that you'd made as a joke.
No, I had not made that. I did not make those skins.
Oh, you didn't make it?
Those were not me. No,
Okay.
Those were Space Dorito 49. They made me the naked skin and the censored skin that I still have, and I used last month.
Yeah.
In public.
And the thing I remember was that you'd used it as a joke for something, and you logged back into the realm, and I think you forgot that you'd changed skins. Because I remember you came on and we were playing, and it was me and you and a couple of other people online, including the unnamed streamer who was streaming, and we met up somewhere. And I just remember being there like, oh my god, they are streaming and you are naked. And you were completely oblivious to it because you had forgotten that you were wearing the skin. And what made it even better, and I remember, I'm not going to name drop just in case I remember the wrong people, but I remember we were in, because this was pre-voice chat, so we were in one of the voice chats in Joe's Discord, and the person streaming was not there. And I just remember that we were in that voice chat and we were absolutely pissing ourselves because the person in question who was streaming did not realize that you were naked. Like, they looked at your skin, you were on screen, and they didn't realize that you were naked. And then, and I remember this part, I remember, I'm not going to name drop, but I remember that at this point they said, oh, so what is your skin supposed to be, Em? I don't think I've seen this one, it must be new. At that point, you realised that you were still wearing the naked skin, and at that point, one of the other people in that voice chat, I'm pretty sure that's the closest they've been to dying, because they were, I'm pretty sure they nearly fell on the floor from the comedic timing of it, and it was just great. That, I believe. I wonder
if we can get that clip.
I doubt it, because this particular streamer is not very good at saving VODs.
Oh no!
I know, because I think I seem to recall that I tried to find that clip once before. I think I tried to find that clip because this person also streamed some other stuff that I wish I had clips of. But sadly, they didn't save their, like most new streamers, they didn't save their VODs. But yeah, but those are my sort of like earliest distinctive memories. Naked M, and of course the chest boat prank.
Who hasn't seen me naked at this point?
I am not gonna answer that question, and we're gonna move on. For legal reasons, we will be moving on. Because nudity is not allowed on Spotify, which is weird because it's audio.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not... Okay, question. Spotify people, if you actually review these things, does that mean you have to be clothed when you record it, even if there's no video? Like, are naked podcasts forbidden?
And how would they know? Why would they care?
Yeah, that's like... What if I want to be naked? I'm not gonna, for obvious reasons, but...
I mean,
yeah, Em, you're gonna have to repeat that because you froze.
Oh, I said if I want to be naked, I'm gonna be goddamn naked.
Em was naked last episode.
It was a short.
It was a very short outfit, and I had framed her web camera a bit awkward. So it looked like Em was naked for May, especially when you. No, I can't say that. Then we're definitely breaking Spotify TOS. Moving on. I'm gonna
I
write.
picked a full shirt today.
I'm gonna DM it to you.
Okay.
God, I was not prepared for that image.
Oh no. We're gonna be editing this part out anyway, so
Yeah.
you might as well say it.
Yeah, it's the naked skin. No, but I think it might be violating Twitch TOS if I put it. Also, hello, Gray. Welcome.
Hey. I'm very familiar with Twitch TOS, so DM it to me and then I'll decide if we're okay. That's a big part of my journey in content creation is riding the line. I haven't seen Gray in forever.
There you go. Make of that as you will. Em riding the line. Never. Em has never bent any sort of rule or any sort of sensible thing ever.
Or over.
Is this where we mentioned the legendary Em snap streak of 2020?
That was 20... Yeah, that was 2020.
Yeah.
You've brought that up every episode.
Yes, sooner or later, there's going to be like a cowboy film called like The Amazing Tales of Lesbian Em. The snap streak to end all snap streaks. I still remember waking up and seeing like, Jesus Christ, I have like, 40 Snapchats from Em. Like, what the hell?
I was busy.
You were hammered. Like, you were plastered. And I just remember reviewing all of those chats and like, what the hell? Like, what was going on?
Okay, so for context, I'm just gonna go into it. We lived on a military base, and I call this in my head the night of the chicken Alfredo, the pre-workout, and the pink vomit.
That's the title of the video that I'm gonna put this up as a bonus.
Okay, great. Alright, so my husband has friends.
Good start.
Associating with them, already a mistake. Just kidding, I actually really like these people. But one of the main dudes was sharing a barracks with another guy that kind of like kept to himself and didn't really care, and he was on night shift duty. So he was naturally like, hey, I'm gonna throw a fucking rager. And so he did. And the thing that this dude prides himself on the most is the ability to create the world's perfect jungle juice. The most liquor with the least amount of mixer. And he manages it by using powdered pre-workout and mixing that into what is straight liquor. So there was Everclear, UV cherry, vodka, rum, tequila, and then like a fruit punch high C, and then fruit punch pre-workout. Along with melted and dissolved caffeine pills, because you can just buy them by the 100 count in a little bottle, and you put them in hot water, swirl them around until they dissolve, and then you just pour that in and mix it up. That's what we drank.
Already here, you can sort of tell where your mistakes began.
Yeah. And this is the type of party where you go and there is a stack of solo cups maybe this tall. You're expected to keep track of your cup, and you just take the cup and you dip it into the water, or the jungle juice, and just drink it. So that's what we started off with. And then this guy was walking around cherry, you don't look drunk enough. Bloop, 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 and pouring more alcohol into your beverage. So I had made chicken Alfredo that night from scratch. That was the same night that I used a Grey Goose bottle to roll out my pasta.
I remember that because that was the first couple of snaps were you making the chicken Alfredo.
Yep, I made the chicken Alfredo. It was chicken Alfredo. And so Heartline, my husband, and I all had that. And they ate a bunch of it. I ate some. And then we went to this freaking party. There was a streaker. There was a guy that almost got the MPs called on us. A bunch of us had to stuff into a room, like stuff all the minors into a room when we thought the MPs were on the way. I made out with somebody's wife several times. I hit a vape for the first time. And we just generally got absolutely disgustingly drunk. And then at the end of the night, we had pulled up in our Ford F-250 7.3 liter diesel Power Stroke. And it was the dead of January. It was super freaking cold. And when we went outside, it wouldn't start. That's how cold it was. So I'm sitting in the truck just, ooh. And Josh is in the driver's seat and leaning out the door, throwing up, and then trying to turn the car on. And I was like, we are not driving like this. We are not driving like this. And I cussed him out, and we ended up not driving. So, yay. But, yeah. No, I did not. I learned all D stuff because I really genuinely loved that truck. It was a big white steel-bodied 1993 truck. It was so tall. It had 9-foot tall smokestacks that were hooked up to the diesel, so it was like right out the back. Loved that thing. So the transmission ended up breaking down at one point, and Josh dropped it completely out, tried to fix it and put it back up, but we could only then drive it in reverse.
It sounds like a car that came with a shotgun and a big cardboard cutout of Hulk Hogan.
Okay, with bullet holes in the side. Yeah.
Of course it did.
Yeah. My friend, Snow, actually is the one that sold it to us after her husband died. So, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this fucking thing, so you take it. And I was like, yes, please.
I have never understood but then again, sidetrack, but I mean relevant sidetrack. I've never really understood why people want those sorts of cars. But then again, I live in a part of Norway where the roads are tiny and horrible. So like my uncle, he has one of those like massive Ford pickup trucks, like the F-150 or 450 or something like that. And that car is massive. I've driven it twice.
They're huge.
And both of the times I've driven it where he lives, which is just outside of Bergen. And that car, it wouldn't fit here. Like it literally wouldn't fit on some of the roads here. There was actually a guy a couple of years ago, probably like 10 years ago now. He imported a Hummer, you know, the big red chunky Hummers. I do. He imported one of those. And
oh no,
he couldn't, like half of the county here, he couldn't drive to because the roads literally weren't wide enough.
That's just crazy to me because everything in America is just bigger in general.
That was one of the things I was surprised, like when we went to New York, like even the smallest back roads in New York were still bigger than some of the main roads in Norway. Like in like the main highways in America, like I've never been so scared in my life as I was driving from JFK Airport at night through Brooklyn and out to Huntington, Long Island, where we stayed on the 8,000 lane freeway. And sorry, American drivers, but you are insane. You have exactly 1/8 of an inch to the car in front of you, and you have 1/8 of an inch to the car behind you, and you merge in the same way you sneeze or make political decisions. You just do. And it was just I was sitting, you know, I was riding shotgun because I was the one who spoke the best English. So I sat in front with Milo, who was driving, so that we could keep the conversation going. So he wouldn't be, because his Norwegian was a bit rusty. And I just remember sitting there in the seat of his massive Chevy Tahoe or something, which didn't have seat belts in the back, because apparently that's not legally required in America. So we're
Depending on the year, yeah.
So we're going 110 miles an hour.
Miles?
Which, 110 miles an hour, which for the record is 60%. That's 60% more than the highest legal driving speed in Norway. I feel like I'm about to take off. I feel like I'm sitting in a bloody space shuttle, and the Tahoe is about as big as a space shuttle. I'm sitting there like this in this bloody Chevy Tahoe. And I'm thinking, in this New York traffic, this is how I die. And it's going to say in my obituary, Phali, born 1990, died 2015. Cause of death, idiot drove in New York traffic. Well, I didn't even... so when we finally got there, they had 2 cars, and Milo said, you know what, if you want to go anywhere, you can take the other car, and you guys can go whenever you want. And I'm like, you know what? No. I'm not getting in a bloody car in this state.
I have never been to New York, but Elvin makes a comment, New York drivers can't drive. And that is, as far as I've heard, super freaking accurate. New York and Texas. Texas, you get one of 2 people. You get grandma, who is slow and she's going nowhere, but she's in the left lane.
Yeah.
Or you get the idiot that dodges and weaves through traffic like he's a snake slithering through the grass.
Yeah.
And will probably kill everybody in his path.
Yeah. And the thing is, the one thing that was a little bit funny was I did actually do one more drive. Like I said, I did drive. We were going down to Huntington, and this was, I'm not going to dox people, but this was outside of Huntington. So it was just a 5-minute drive into Huntington. Huntington was a pretty small town. I'd dare call it a small town. And the roads going to and from where we stayed were pretty small and akin to Norwegian roads. So I was like, you know what, I'll take my chances on that drive. Driving to Huntington is going to be fine. We drove down, and that was perfectly fine. But the thing that was so funny was that we got down, and this happened twice. It was so silly. It happened twice. We came down to, we were going to, what's it called, Big Dick Sporting Goods or something like that. Dick's Sporting Goods.
It's just Dick's.
I don't know why I felt like I needed to add the big. But we went to the sporting goods store in Huntington.
Bigger in America.
Hurt and Dirk and Dirk. Add Hulk Hogan music or something like that here. And we went to the sporting goods shop, and I drove down there. And when we got down there, they were struggling with parts of the parking, because they were like, there was a car that was stuck. They had like a gate at the back corner of it where you could pick up like big stuff, like, you know, camping equipment and canoes and that sort of thing. And there was a car parked there, and they couldn't find the driver, and and it was blocking it, and it was like, well, they can't move the car. And I, being an idiot, of course, sort of like, well, why can't you move the car if the keys are in the car? And it was they couldn't move it because it was a stick shift.
No.
It was like, I was like, are you joking? Like, no, there was literally no one there who could drive a stick. And I'm like, well, I'll move it. And they looked at me like, what, you could drive a stick? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
they don't teach stick anymore.
Don't try to make this like I'm the weird one that can drive a stick. So I got in the car and I moved it. And right after I moved it, the guy came out, and there was this super lovely older guy. And he was like, oh, so sorry, he's so sorry. He was in a rush, and it was the only parking spot. And he came out, and he saw his car being moved. And he's like, oh, You managed to move it, and I came and I was like, yeah, I moved it. Like, and he looked at me like, what? You can drive a stick? Like, you look like you're 18. Like, yeah, no, I'm from Norway. We all like we don't really have automatic at that time. We didn't really have that many automatic transmission cars in Norway, so I moved it. And he was like, wow. He was just so impressed by the fact that, oh, like, wow, it was almost like it was like, wow, it's the first time I've met another human that can drive a stick. And this was so. And a couple of days later, funnily enough, their neighbours had a car that was sitting on the driveway, which was their son's, and he was going to come pick it up, and it was standing a bit in the way because they hadn't really thought about it when it was parked, and was like, well, just move it. And like, no, they couldn't move it because his son drove a stick. And I was like, well, I can move it, and I moved the car. And again, it was the thing was, and I don't know if it's like this anywhere, but like when you get, I got the feeling like when you get in there and you drive a stick in front of them, they look at you like you're some sort of bloody wizard. Like you're preaching the dark arts. Which is funny enough, given that since I've dyed my hair black, I currently look like someone ordered Severus Snape off of Temu. But...
oh my god, you do!
Turn to page 394.
Oh my god.
Mr. Potter, a new celebrity. I'm going to give you to the count of 3. There will
Why do you also sound like...
4. What?
Why do you sound like Gollum?
To who?
Gollum.
Gollum? Stupid fat hobbits.
I don't sound like Gollum and Severus Snape do not sound alike.
Okay, I've watched the
Mr.
Harry
Potter,
Potter series
how
exactly
you're
one time.
celebrity.
Can you imagine changing this? Having Alan Rickman be Gollum, and then having Andy Serkis be Severus Snape.
I can't imagine. But, I don't know who they are. Okay, I kind of know who
You pick a hell of a moment. No, you froze again.
God, what? Okay, I'm gonna have to have that addressed.
So
Is it this?
you don't? So you don't.
Maybe if I leave the camera open here in Discord, it'll be better. Alan Rickman is Snape or Dumbledore.
Alan Rickman was Severus Snape.
Okay, he's dead.
Yes.
Okay.
He died literally like a day or two after David Bowie, funnily enough. Let me jump. He died right before. I remember because that was the year when all the cool people died in like 2 weeks. Yeah, he died 4 days after David Bowie. That I just remember that like David Bowie died and you were like basically lying there like destroyed by David Bowie's death. It's like, surprise motherfucker, Alan Rickman's dead too.
No. We don't like that.
No, it was just, that was also like heartbreaking. That was one of those as well. Like when Alan Rickman died, that was just like, God damn it. 2016 was a horrible year.
Yeah, good God. Not great.
List of notable deaths in 2016. This is a long list. I can't read this list. I'm going to become depressed. 2016 was a year we lost extremely many people. It was horrible. Terry Wogan. Who
I know
else?
who Terry Crews is.
Abe Vigoda.
Don't know who that is. While you're doing
Alan
that,
Rick.
I'm gonna.
Alan Rickman, yeah. Robert Black, David Bowie, Judith Kay. Yeah, and it just got worse. Anyway, we were supposed to be light-hearted. We can't keep talking about dead people.
That's fair. And this was supposed to be about Minecraft. If we're on dead people for like what, the third time?
We keep coming back to it. But yeah, Minecraft. So, break for me to edit. So, but yeah, so 2019, 2020, the year sort of we became acquainted in Joe's Discord. And we both started making content not long after that. At least I started making content not long after that. I think you waited a bit longer. But
Yeah, I started in like 2019, I think was my first one.
Yeah, so you started a bit after me. I think I did my first streams in 2014 or 15.
Can I look that up?
I was pretty I don't know if you can. I was pretty early into streaming. But I didn't really take streaming seriously. I didn't really take streaming seriously for the first couple of years. Like the first couple of years when I streamed, it was more of I was streaming for convenience, rather than I was streaming for convenience rather than actually taking it seriously. Like I streamed because, and this is like the reason I started streaming was a bit silly. I started streaming because there were a bunch of us playing together, but we very often played games that some of us didn't have, or maybe some of us didn't, enjoy, but we still wanted to sort of be together and do shit. So we decided, well, what if we streamed it? And this was also pre-Discord. Be noted, this was before Discord, so you didn't have like streaming within Discord. And so it was suggested by one of our friends that, well, Phali, you have the best internet and the beefiest computer. Why don't you stream? Like you're probably gonna be the one who can stream with the least strain on your game. So whenever we played, and I was usually playing, I would stream it so that whoever wasn't playing could just watch the stream. And eventually we found out that, you know what, we actually had other friends who enjoyed watching the stream because they thought we were funny. And that developed into what we briefly touched upon in episode 2. I don't know if that's going to make the edit, but if not, just I can recap. It turned into my first proper streaming series, which was called Phali and Ken Suck at Video Games. And was basically me and Kenneth, a friend of mine from Sweden, playing various video games. And sometimes we had guests. We had Mick as a guest, we had Jay, we had Shinra, another friend of ours, who was actually the one who suggested that I should be streaming. We would play different games, and we would sort of... The thing that made it funny was that very often it was either us playing a game that I had never played before and Kenneth had to try and teach me it, or it was a game that Ken had never played before that I had to try and teach him, or it was just a game that none of us had played before and we just went in completely blind. And
That's
very
always fun.
yeah, and very often we would go to like Steam and we would basically look at, okay, let's find a game that's like super cheap. Em has stopped working. Em is now rebooting her camera by the looks of it. There we go.
There we go.
Em's internet seemed to have beeped for a second, or blipped.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on. I was like moving two things around and then suddenly Discord was like, you don't get to live anymore.
Yes, MXC has stopped. Oh well. But yeah, so that was basically pretty much, we would find like the cheapest, crappiest games on Steam, and we'd just, you know, all right, let's play this for a bit. And it was hilarious, and we very rarely played a game for more than one stream. And the streams were long. The longest VOD I have is 9.5 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So a regular day of gaming for Mick.
We would regularly do. That's the thing. This was before I had a kid, and this was before we started our housing extension. And at the time my work schedule was so that I very often had days off. So whenever I had like a day off, we would just, and Asri was studying at the time, like my wife, she was studying at the time, so she was at home. So I would sit at my computer, because this was before we extended the house, so we both sat in the living room. I would be on my computer playing games and streaming it, and she would be on her computer working on graphic design stuff. And we'd do that. Yeah, and we'd do that for many hours. And the longest VOD I have is, like I said, I think it's like 9.5 hours, give or take. Like right now, just the thought of doing a 9.5 hour stream now is like, I honestly don't think honestly, like it doesn't, and I don't have to worry about it since I've stopped streaming. But like just the thought of doing a 9.5 hour stream now is like, no, like. The thing about streaming, and that sort of takes, I think I'm going to skip ahead a bit and sort of pick this up. So 2017, I took a break from streaming. Both me and Ken had a lot going on. Ken had school stuff, and I believe this is when he met his now fiance. And at the same time, Asri was heavily pregnant, and we were having a kid, and we were getting ready to start our housing extension. And yeah, it was just like, you know, there was no time to stream, so I stopped streaming, and then I sort of picked it up again in 2019. After I did a little bit of streaming from a Zuma Void server, but that was more like for events. I remember the thing that got me back into streaming was we did an event, a server event in 2019. I think it was February 2019. And Azuma was like, he really wanted us to do a big stream day from his server. He thought that would be a cool way to showcase stuff and also promote the server. So he was like, well, we need to get, you know, people streaming. And I can't remember who said it, but someone said, it might have been Wolfie, who said, well, Phali, didn't you used to stream? Like, I think you mentioned that you used to stream. Do you still have OBS and everything set up? And I was like, yeah, no, I still have everything. Like, I could easily get my streaming set up, so, you know, sure. And I took part in that stream event, and I had the slot, I think I had the slot just before Azuma, which got me a little bit of viewership, and it was very fun, and it made me realize, you know what, this is pretty fun. I could do this. I could easily do this. And that sort of got me into streaming Minecraft. And when I joined Joe's server, it really escalated. And I think that's sort of when I really started doing proper Minecraft streams. And I streamed from Joe's server, I think, pretty regularly for about a year or so. Until November of 2019, when we launched Phallycraft, which was later rebranded as Shamblecraft. Then I started streaming there instead, And the reason I streamed from there had nothing to do with Joe or Joe's server. It was just that it was difficult to stream from Joe's server without, or realm at the time, without being an inconvenience to the other people playing, which sort of made me feel bad. So I was like, I would stream every now and then, but generally I would be like, you know what, I'd rather stream from my own server because then I know I'm not inconveniencing anyone. And that eventually led to my first video series, which was Shamblecraft Season 1. Which ended up having 62 episodes. My longest video series so far. And I kept streaming for a good while. Took a break in 2021 when I was finishing my master's thesis. And we sort of covered a bunch of that in the previous episode, so I'm not going to rehash that. But took a break, got burnt out, as I've previously mentioned. That sort of sidetracked my streaming a bit. And came back to streaming and content creation, but I could never really sort of get into the groove in the same way that I'd done. I've said this before, and I said it in a stream. I feel like the middle of season 1, I would say like episodes, I don't know, episode 10 until 45-ish, like the middle segment of my Shamblecraft season 1, I would say that's where my best work is. Because at that time, I was in a groove, I had plans, I had ideas, and I feel like I didn't really get into that level of groove and mindset for creating content again until Autocraft. Like, at the tail end of season 1, with the exception of, I would say, my final 2 episodes, which I'm still very proud of season 1. Until Autocraft, I would say end of season 1 and all of season 2, I basically felt like I was phoning it in. It was basically like I was making content not because I wanted to or because I was feeling in a groove. I was doing it because I felt like I had to. And I did say that before, that I felt like I had to make the content because I was the server owner, and my videos, at least that's how I felt it, even though it probably wasn't true. My streams and videos were the number one thing promoting the server. Because we did have other creators streaming from Shamblecraft, but it was extremely irregularly. And as Elvin mentions in chat for the listeners, to be fair, season 2 of Shamblecraft ended up being a bit of a dumpster fire. And yeah, I would say, without going into too many details, Shamblecraft season 2 was, for lack of a better term, an absolute and utter clusterfuck. We had, like, the problem was that we had a bunch of people who streamed a lot. Like, Elvin was a very regular, trustworthy, solid streamer, but the problem was that we had a lot of semi-big names that were supposed to be the content creator team, and they streamed once or twice and then they sort of sodded off or didn't really do things. And I've sort of avoided for a long time being pissy about it, because I feel like that would be wrong, but at the same time it's very hard to avoid the elephant in the room that, yeah, I am honestly still a bit pissed and a little bit salty that a big amount of people who sort of made promises that they were going to do content, that they were going to do videos, and they were going to do streams. They had like, oh, and I spent, and that's the thing, like, I'm not saying this for pity, I'm saying this for people to understand my side. I spent 20, 25, maybe 30 hours doing graphics, doing art, doing schedules, setting up everything, making descriptions. I spent so much time and effort in a time where I was even though I didn't recognize it at the time, recovering from the burnout mentioned in the previous episode, I did so much work, and so many people basically just did not deliver, and that, even though I wasn't as vocal as I should have been about it at the time, that thoroughly pissed me off in one way. But in one way, it was that sort of thing, like, I wasn't mad as much as I was just very, very disappointed and very, very let down. Because it was like, I can understand, and some of them had valid reasons. I'm not saying that's like they were all horrible, but some of them, sorry, but some of them just said, sure, I'll stream, sure, I'll do it. And I did a metric fuck ton of work setting things up for them, and they just did not deliver. And yeah, that sort of, I feel like, brings me into what I'm gonna say is the final chapter of my content saga, which is, why did you stop? But I feel like before I sort of bring down the mood, Em, where did you sort of, like, you said you started streaming in 2019, but like, how was your road into Minecraft content?
Minecraft was the only thing that really drew me into making content, because as far as like Twitch stuff, it's all I've really bothered to watch, and it's all I've really bothered to do. I mean, like, outside of a couple like RimWorld streams and a few other, like, you know, tuning into friends stuff because I'm their friend and less because I'm interested in the content. I just kind of done that. Now I do more back-end work for other people than anything else. I mod for 7 individuals at this point. Oh, not including this channel. If I include this channel, it counts 8. If I include my own channel, it counts 9. I don't know if I'm still modded in another one. It could even be 10. But I have ended up doing a lot of more networky type things, and a lot more of like feedback, criticism, helping people set stuff up, helping people pull their communities. I wear a lot of swords. I wear a lot of hats, as Tay is saying in chat. Like, for instance, I'm supposed to have 2 calls later today with 2 different creators to sort out XYZ for tomorrow, and then to sort out XYZ for next week. Not to mention, I spent maybe 24 hours over the course of a week in calls with somebody while they were trying to set stuff up. Speaking of creators, oh, I know friend. I figure you can cut it right there, but this is my friend here. Hello, Sling.
But yeah, since we have a cut, then I can also say hello, Tay. Welcome to the stream, and hello, Nikki. Yes. I've been it's the like I said last time. I feel rude not responding to chat, but at the same time, I'm trying to avoid making a ton of stuff for me to cut in the edit. Also, hey, Aggro, welcome to the stream.
Hello, Aggro. Speaking of people I have calls with.
But yeah, so so for you, it's sort of developed from making your own content into more, like, you still work with content pretty much as much as you've always done, but you now work more with other people's content rather than your own.
Yeah, more so even than I ever did for my own stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get to the dogs probably at the end of the episode. We can do a little intro for them dang Dugans. Because I've got all 5 of them in here with me, so. All 5 morons. Someone took a poop on the stairs today. Still not sure who that was.
And yeah, people are, as Adela says, insert council Discord plug. We do have a Discord where we do discuss the podcast, and we will be gradually posting some teasers and some exclusive content. And it's a nice place where you can hang out and discuss the podcast, and also you can add wishes for things you want to see.
Clips. When the tea podcast does indeed happen, that's one of the projects I'm working on at the moment, but that's more for personal pleasure than anything. That will be a Discord exclusive, so if you're not in the Discord, you're gonna be missing that.
Ah, yes, the M Drama Cast that we cannot put on Spotify or YouTube for obvious reasons once you hear it.
There's absolutely no way that can go on any other platform than ones where people can't report you.
Yeah, and for legal reasons, I take no responsibility for anything M says and does ever. I think that's just a good ballpark disclaimer right there. Like, I
Elvin,
have
can
no
we get
control.
a clip of that too?
I have no control of M. I've never had any control of M, nor do I aspire to have any control of M in any way, because that's foolhardily and silly.
I'm trying to ride a crocodile.
Yeah, on methamphetamines.
I mean, accurate.
Anyway.
But yeah, I do, honestly, a shitload of back-end work. I'm getting more into the art sphere as well. I've got an art tablet that delivers tomorrow. I've recently got into like Minecraft modeling and texture packs, graphic design, stuff like that. So just like kind of being that catch-all, tick all the boxes for some people.
Yeah.
Aggro says everyone that collabs with M should maintain a disclaimer. It's required.
No, they've got a point.
I mean, that's fair. I do have a voice clip of Joe Hills saying, it's a mature audience's stream. If you've seen M here before, you probably already figured that out.
Yeah. It's a sort of stream this that I feel like trying to keep it 100, like if trying to keep this family friendly, it's kind of like, it feels a little bit like what the WWE did after the Attitude Era when they tried to make WWE PG. It just stopped being fun.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like it would be fun at all.
No, it's like you could, like, yeah, you can't.
Now that I made you a channel.
Yeah, I actually made you a channel too, and then saw that Em had already made one, so I deleted the one I made.
I move fast.
You do.
That's another thing. Like, people were like, oh, we should put this together. And I'm like, cool. And then 30 minutes later, it's done.
Yeah, I'm the same in the way that I like to do things quickly. Like, the same when we, like, I think we can say, I don't think we've talked about this yet, but like this podcast, I would say this podcast is an idea that goes back a while. Like, this wasn't a spur of the moment type of thing. But the design, the name, the sort of how this podcast was going to look, that was basically that was like a day.
Yeah, maybe 2.5 hours total.
Yeah, because it was like when we reached the point where we sort of knew how it was going to look and how it was going to sound, and you know, when we sort of realized, oh, this is what the podcast is in terms of like framework, then you basically started making lists of things. I started making the graphics.
I went full tism. We're gonna do list after list after list after list.
And we basically, I think we did our first stream. I think we talked on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then we streamed on the Saturday. But like, we had talked about, yeah, but at the time we had talked about the podcast idea for months, if not longer. So
yeah,
but a question for you, Em. I'm gonna ask again, but with a little bit of dead air first, so I can edit it better. A question for you, Em. Okay. So you, as you say, you sort of work a lot behind the scenes. But so how did you sort of get into Autocraft? Because like, you were on Shamblecraft and you did some casual streaming from there, and then you sort of took the step to Autocraft. So what was the story there?
Oh, so one of the main members of Autocraft at the time directly reached out to me and asked me to apply. Directly reached out to me and asked me to apply and said, hey, we think you'd be a really good fit. Here's the application link. You should make a YouTube video first, though, otherwise we can't accept you.
Yeah.
And so I went and I made a YouTube video over the course of a month, with a lot of hand holding, both from you with the Vegas issues that I was having, a lot from Mick as far as just general encouragement.
Yeah.
My episode would not have happened if it wasn't for Mick.
Oh, absolutely.
It wouldn't have happened. Like, full stop.
Yeah, say what you will about Mick, but the dude is absolutely amazing when it comes to being, supportive.
He's good at everything but taking compliments.
He was, not turning this into a Mick praise episode, but like Mick was one of the very few people who checked in on me when I had COVID and when I was burnt out. Like a lot of people are like, and I'm not saying I'm angry at the people who didn't check in, because I'm the sort of person who will naturally be like, oh, they probably want their piece. But he was one of the few people, like both when I had my COVID infection and when I was burnt out, he would send me a message like ask how I was doing. And yeah, he's a good friend, and he's a supportive dude.
Yeah. Always a joy to get a DM from Mick.
Yep. So, what sort of to look? Well, I can sort of. I think the most logical thing is for me to maybe talk about my autocraft period, and then we can talk a little bit about our future, what we see in the future. I think that's a good place to end the episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Then I'll sort of segue back into me. Yeah, so I think my foray into autocraft was pretty similar. I wasn't reached out to directly, but I was encouraged by a former autocraft member who had seen my previous content, like, hey, you'd probably be a good fit for autocraft if you decide you want to make videos again. And at that time, I was very much, no, I don't want to make videos again. I consider myself done with videos, because I felt like videos was the one thing that really sort of wore me out because of the time it took to shoot and edit and everything. And then a couple of months passed, and I was feeling better, even though I wasn't better. And I decided, you know what, why don't we give it a go? And I reached out to Autocraft and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this one more chance. And I applied and I was accepted, and I joined mid-season 3, and I had the time to make 4 episodes. And I will say, like I said, like Shamblecraft, the sort of middle of season 1 of Shamblecraft is some of my finest work, but I believe my absolute finest work is the 7 episodes I made for Autocraft, because the 7 episodes I made for Autocraft I put actual real effort into, because that was like, I'm no longer like, Shamblecraft was a place where it was easy to phone it in because it was my server. It was like, I keep bonking the fucking microphone. I keep saying fucking too. I'm gonna have to bleep this. So when I was making videos on Shamblecraft, it was easy to phone it in because it was my server. It was kind of like it's kind of like, if you make a mess in your own house, you don't really care because it's your house. But you really don't want to make a mess in someone else's house. So it's like drinking red wine in, they have they have their wedding china, and you're drinking red wine and they have their finest white tablecloths. And I'm holding that wine glass like it's a frail dying kitten, because I do not want to spill one drop of that wine on that tablecloth. While at home, I'm like, oh, I spilled wine on my shirt. Fuck it, I have another shirt.
I'm triggered even thinking about that.
Yeah, and that's how I sort of felt a little bit with Autocraft. Like, I'm now dining at someone else's house. I need I need to be on my best behavior here. So I was like, okay, I'll keep doing the silly jokes, because that was one of the things they told me they liked about my Shamblecraft videos, was the silly jokes and comments that I'd make, and the sort of the silly editing, which I still think is, I would still say, one of the things that make my videos fun in my own perspective is the little stupid edits. And so when I put, the 7 episodes I made of Autocraft, I was really, really happy with, especially the one thing I spent the most time doing was the final segment of my season 3 finale.
That was epic.
It took so long to do. It was a pain in the arse to do. And so many people looked at it and they panicked. Like, why are you letting Phali put that amount of TNT on a server? We know it's a joke. We know he's not going to do anything about it. But what if something happens? And I can't remember who said it. It might have been Sammy, who said that from the second she saw me, I think it was Sammy, from the second she saw me placing the redstone and that pile of dynamite, she said she could feel her heart rate increasing. Like, no, I know where this is going. Please don't. And then Calvin, I think it was, comes in and just flips the switch and kaboom. And yeah, Rusty thought it actually. I think Rusty thought it actually happened because we hadn't. Or was it Crink who actually? Oh, Crink. It was Crink. Sorry, yeah. Because Crink had the prank potato, and I remember we didn't tell anyone in Autocraft what it was going to be. I was one of the last people to record on the server before it shut down for season 3, and I think I was one of the last people to release an episode too. So my episode was like pretty much one of the actual finals, and I had the idea of like, what if I decide this is going to take too long to dig out? I had several plans for how I was going to make that happen, and I decided, well, the funniest thing would be if I just continued digging with it being obvious to the audience that I'm not going to be able to do this, and then like plan B, and then just cut to me having filled the hole with the dynamite. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And we did all of that, and we didn't tell anyone. The only person who knew was Crink, and I was sent before it was made public. Rusty sent me, I think Rusty sent me a single player copy of the world. Either that or I used World Edit to copy it, or a schematic to copy it from the actual server. But I set up a single player server that 100% mirrored the real one, to the point where I even added experience points and wore out my tools, so they would be identical to what they were on the actual server. Set up a local server that I sent the IP to Crink, and Crink connected, and we recorded the final bit. And no one knew.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so when that was sort of aired, even the people on Autocraft had no idea what I was going to do. And I was like, and one of the reasons I did it like that was because I was like, I didn't care, because I'd sort of decided, I think I'm going to call it after season 3, because I wasn't really feeling the vibe. And what happened was that I decided, after actually being pretty much convinced by Rusty, why don't you give season 4, give it one more go. Give season 4 a go. We want you to join us. Give season 4 a chance. And I gave season 4 a chance, and I would still say that I'm very happy with the content I made for season 4, but I just wasn't feeling it. It didn't have that. I think in hindsight, the problem was that I was setting too high expectations. I was setting too high expectations for myself while not acknowledging my mental health and the fact that I was still very burnt out and still recovering from that.
Well, because you made, like, what, 3 episodes?
I made 3 episodes, and I still have all the content I shot for episode 4. I still have like 70% of episode 4. I never started editing.
3 episodes is more than some people ended up putting together.
True. Very true. 3.5, actually. I could probably...
Yeah.
The problem is that I don't have any... I don't... Like, if I was looking through some of my old folders a while ago, and I found... Like, what's this? And I looked at it, and it's like, oh, this is Autocraft 4, Season 4 clips. And I looked through it, and I was like... I don't know where I was going with this. I know what my plan for the season was, and I did actually consider doing something with it. And then my computer crashed, famously, last year.
I remember that.
Yeah, and for some reason, I thought Prism had installed Minecraft on my gaming hard drive. So when I moved all my stuff to the new computer, I was like, well, all of my Minecraft stuff is going to be there, and I cleared out the old computer, and basically I lost the last 3 years worth of screenshots, the last 3 years worth of replays, all of my creative worlds, all of my single player worlds, basically everything I had made since I started doing content. The only thing I didn't lose was my screenshots up until 2023, because I had a backup of those from when I upgraded my Windows installation. So I lost that, and that for me was because that happened to me in October, November. And at the time, I was still very 50-50 on whether or not I wanted to continue with Autocraft, and I had told the other Autocrafters that I was very much on the fence. And when I lost everything like that, that was just, that's the universe's way of telling me that I'm done.
Yeah.
And
which was kind of the nail in the coffin for me as well.
Yeah, like we were heavily collaborating. Like you were actively featured in all 3 and the footage for episode 4.
Yeah.
So in many ways I feel like my videos were just as much your videos as they were mine.
I'm Twitch's official sidekick at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like you never made any, like you didn't make any videos formally, but I will argue that I would say that your contributions to the 3 and almost 4 episodes that I made were of such importance and value and size that you should consider them your videos as much as mine.
I do none of the editing work though, and to me that feels like cheating.
Well, you do none of the editing working for this podcast either, but you're still part of it.
I know, and it feels like cheating.
Well, you're good at other things.
Like 3 other...
Yeah, like you're not very good at, English rock singers.
God fucking damn it.
Oh boy. But yeah. So that's sort of where it ended for me. But I mean, I feel like we should end this episode on a lighter note. So, as Em sips the tea,
I'll get the dogs.
What,
Are we?
No, you're not. We were supposed to talk about the future.
Oh, that's right.
All right, I'll segue into it again so I can fix it in the edit.
Oh my god.
Well, I feel like we should end the episode on a lighter note. So, I quit, you quit. But here we are. So, content and our future, what do you think, Em? Do you think you're done with content forever? Do you think where do you see yourself, going forward in terms of content?
I think I'll be sporadic at best, but definitely around in other people's. I'm firmly integrated into other people's content, like as a staple. So realistically, I'll probably be doing mostly that, and then occasionally produce some stuff on my own. But everything's kind of up in the air until I figure out exactly what that's gonna look like. And that take at least another month of brainstorming and then figuring out what I'm doing, and then on top of that, how I fit in the scheme of things with everything else going on. So, yeah.
Do you think you'll ever return to Minecraft? Like, as your own creator?
Yeah. That would be probably the only thing that I would do outside of maybe a RimWorld playthrough or two, because I really enjoy RimWorld a little too much. I've consciously not gone into RimWorld for a couple of weeks now.
Just to make sure you're not too addicted.
Yeah, I gotta pull out a little bit every once in a while and make sure I remember what grass feels like.
Yeah. I'm like that with a bunch of games. I'm like that with some games. Like one of my favorite game series of all time is Mafia. Especially the definitive editions of the 3 Mafia games. And I recently replayed Mafia 3 because Mafia 3 is a game that a lot of people hate. Personally, Mafia 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, even though it's buggy and it has its technical issues, but there's just something about the atmosphere of it, and it's sort of my comfort game. Like, when I was burnt out, I played Mafia. When I had COVID, I played Mafia. Whenever I have an extended break, I go back and I play Mafia again. And it's one of the few games where I've splurged the $150 for the deluxe edition of a game. Like a physical deluxe edition, which included art cards, coasters, dog tags, and 2 vinyl LPs of music from the game. So yeah, it's a comfort game, but that's also I feel like I can, if I get a week off and the weather is bad, I can easily sit and play Mafia 10 hours a day for a week. And then it's okay, I need to go outside and do other things now. But yeah, I think it's funny because a lot of people ask me every now and then, Phali, are you never gonna do videos again? Are you never gonna stream again? And I say the same thing every time, and that's yes. I consider myself 100% utterly done with content. But at the same time, I know that that's a lie. Because...
There they are. They admitted it.
Because...
Round of applause.
The thing is, I love making videos. Not for the sake of content, but I love making videos or entertainment in video form. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a Minecraft playthrough. It could be shit posts. The most viewed video on my channel is the clip when I mocked Azuma for not knowing that Nashville's in America. You know who else lives in America? It's just Jesus Christ, X, how do you not know? God damn it. It's just, yeah, but making those, making that, we had a discussion about, we were talking about music, and and we were talking about Taylor Swift, and we were talking about mashups, and I said, well, do you think Taylor Swift's vocals could go with any other music? And one of the other people in the discussion said it could go with Vikingarna, which is a Swedish dance band, which is a very sort of particular Scandinavian style of music. And and my brain instantly like, this must be tested. Straight to YouTube, found Vikingarna music, found Taylor Swift, and I found I think it was Blank Space. Was it Blank Space? No, it was Shake It Off.
Yeah.
And I started listening to the song, like shaking. Okay, it's a bit speedy, it's a bit bouncy, it's a 4x4, it's a 4-bar song, 4/4-takt, as we say in Norwegian. I don't know what that's in English. And I was like, okay, and it's in G. So like, all right, what Vikingarna songs do I know that has sort of that bouncy speed, and it's in G? And I was like, I know exactly the song. Searched it up because I know that band a little too well. Downloaded that, removed the vocals from that, added Taylor Swift's vocals to that, and I didn't even have to speed adjust it. It was a perfect fit. And I just like slammed it together into a YouTube video and threw it on YouTube. And I don't know if that's what you linked. No, you linked.
I linked the Assume I Didn't Know, but
61,000 views. Nashville's in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one that I
in
made.
America?
The other one is that one.
I don't have to tell you that.
It's just, it's horrible. It's horrible how well it works. But yeah, I think that I will return to making some sort of content sooner or later. But I think it depends on a bunch of factors. I do in many ways miss making Minecraft content, but at the same time, I sadly just don't have the time and the life. Like, my life as it sits and stands right now is just not made for Minecraft content, because Minecraft content takes a surprising amount of time to do, and I just sadly don't have that time.
Yeah.
If I was to do something, it would have to be very low-key. So hey, if there's an SMP out there who wants someone who can make maybe a video a month and with extremely low expectations, hit me up, yo.
I know one.
But yeah, I'm at a point right now where it's like, I don't think I'll be returning anytime soon. Like, it was kind of funny, people were asking, because I got a couple of DMs when I rejoined the Autocraft Discord because I had accidentally left it. I left the wrong folder of Discords. I've done that 3 times now. So when apparently I think there was someone people saw me joining just as season 5 was about to launch, and I got several DMs actually from people who asked me, are you rejoining Autocraft for season 5? And I answered, I think I said lol no to everyone. And I would, even if I was offered, and that's nothing to do with Autocraft, even if I was offered a spot for season 5, I wouldn't rejoin, simply because right now it would be physically impossible for me to do it.
Yeah.
So, but you know, keep your eyes peeled for Autocraft season 7.
Oh my god. Is that when we make our comeback? Season 7?
That's season 7. That's going to be the year of the Phali and the M. The Idiot Council Invasion. Autocraft season 7.
Okay. Yeah, see, you made the mistake of doing that when Rusty's in chat, so now we're committed.
You got that in writing. You didn't get that in writing.
You got it better in writing. You got an audio and video format. Like, there's no way to prove that we didn't say that.
For legal reasons, if this is being used against me in the future, this is a deep fake. I'm not real. I'm currently being held at gunpoint in the Netherlands.
I don't think Rusty's even seen a gun. Oh, Rusty just wrote it down. Wow.
I mean, no, he's got a point. But yeah, I think it is. I think it is inevitable. I think I'm the sort of person that I love making content too much to stop doing it. But I think the thing that I have realized now that I should have realized during Shamblecraft is that for me to enjoy content, I need to make it on my own terms. And I think that's the thing that if I had more time, I wouldn't have left Autocraft. If I had the time to continue doing Autocraft, I would have continued doing Autocraft because doing Autocraft was very, very fun and I really, really enjoyed it. So if I ever return to content, I can imagine it would be in a space like Autocraft, like either Autocraft or somewhere like Autocraft, where I could do things on my own terms with low expectations. But there's no need to there's no need to be sending me offers because it will not be happening for at least a good year or more. So for reasons for reasons I cannot go into here that are undramatic but take time. But yeah.
Oh God, Alvin and Rusty conspire against us.
Yeah. Rusty tends to conspire against us. Rusty, if you just join the Discord, you can have all the proof you want. I'm pretty sure that's where Alvin put it. Don't give it to him. He doesn't deserve it. Join the Discord, you lazy sod.
We'll put the link in chat then. God dang.
I did.
You haven't made a Discord, forever ago.
Fine. Let's cut a very WWE. No, you can't do Hulk Hogan now.
Yeah, you were supposed to make a Discord command for us as well, and you didn't.
Yes, I was also supposed to fix the typos in the graphics, but I can't do that because I cancelled my Adobe subscription. I don't have Photoshop anymore. So the graphics, the stream graphics are stuck like this forever.
I have to have it fixed.
No.
We can make it in Canva.
We can make it in Paint.
It's fine.
You can make it in PowerPoint. You can make it in PowerPoint. The problem is that none of those save with transparency.
Does it need it? Well, Canva you can save with transparency if you pay for the Pro, which I can shell out $15 to do that again. Or the fact that I'm getting a friggin' art tablet tomorrow.
Oh, Canva does. Okay. I mean,
yeah, Canva does. You can save with a transparency. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but if you need the... I have...
Yeah. And also, paint.net, you can cut stuff out, and that's free.
Have you tried using Krita, which is... I will definitely look into that.
Krita is what I intend to put on my tablet.
I will definitely be checking into that. I will definitely be looking into that. Thank you. Do we want to segue into an end segment then? Because we have, per the usual, overrun by 30 minutes.
Yep. We have another 15 minutes until we are the longest we've ever recorded. So.
Yes, but it's still very hot here and I'm very tired.
Yeah, that's fair. It's quite late for you.
Yeah, it's 11:30 for me. For the non-Europeans. Okay, so segueing into an ending. Well, alright, so I guess that's, past, present and future covered, so you heard it here first.
The ghost of Minecraft Past.
The ghosts of Minecraft Past. We may not be making content right now other than this podcast, obviously. But who knows what the future holds. I think you have probably not seen the last of Phali and Em in a Minecraft space. Let's just put it that way. But which space you end up seeing us in is who knows. I mean, Autograph Season 7, obviously. But other than that, who knows? But with that, I believe it's time to end. So thank you very much once again to everyone who has listened in and joined us today here on the Idiot Council. I am Idiot number 1.
And I'm Idiot number 2.
Hell
shittier one.
yeah. I am. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Well, bye. Take care.
All right. Is it dog time?
Yeah.
For a
That's
little bit
where
of
we're gonna
light
cut-
at the end.
That's where we're going to cut the edited version. So yeah, a reminder again for people who weren't here at the start, before we get doggo bonus. We are slightly off schedule because Em will be gone next weekend, which is when we were supposed to record. Yeah, so next weekend we will be dropping the edited episode 2. So basically the live episode 3 and edited episode 2 have basically traded places in the schedule. So the next 2 Saturdays will be episode 2 and 3 edited, and then in 2-3 weeks we'll be back with a live recording of episode 4, the topic of which is yet to be chosen. But I mean, if you haven't joined the Discord, do join the Discord and throw your desires in wishlist, because we use the wishlist channel to look at what people have asked for, and try to meet people's wishes. And yeah, I will now give the stage to Em and the dogs.
The dogs. Okay, I have 5 of these idiots. I'll introduce them as they come up. Bean. This is Wellington. He's a black lab border collie mix. He's about 45 pounds. We call him Bean for short. He loves kisses. He hates thunder. He also is a slut for Dr. Pepper. Yay. You got stinky breath. You should go. You should go. You should go. You should leave. Okay, Appa. Appa-roo. This is Appa. Appa is a yellow lab pit bull mix. He likes to jump directly up into your face. Doesn't really like kisses as much. Like if I try to kiss him, he leaves. It's okay. He likes to cuddle, and he likes spicy food. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. We got Miss Maya. Maya doesn't jump on laps because she's silly, but she's a Great Pyrenees mix with Black Lab, German Shepherd. We think she has no brain. It's okay. Appa's her boyfriend. Dibble. The one time you don't want tension. Come here. Come here. Dibble. Were you Seepins? This is the one I'm trying to sell off. If anybody wants a free dog, this is their dog. She's baby. She's fat. This is a German short-haired pointer. She's 3, and she's needy, and she's surprisingly quiet at the moment. Okay, goodbye. Come here. Aries, will you climb up? Come up here. Come here. Ha! Yeah! That's a big dog. This is Aries. Aries is 110 pounds, so he outweighs me by 8 to 10 pounds, depending on the day. And he is a big cuddle bug, and he likes to swim and boof. There are the dogs. I might just leave him in the lap. He's hard to kick off.
Dogs have been sufficiently covered.
Woo!
I even brought
Hello.
you I brought you full screen for that.
I know, I'm watching myself on your stream with like a little delay. Yeah. Oh, Aries also likes butt scritches.
Let's go to
You like butt scritch. Oh, goodbye. Okay. But that's it. Those are the dogs.
Did I you know what, I messed it up.
I'm now
a
in
little bit.
both screens.
Yeah, I there we go. I made your camera so big I can't resize it anymore. Sorry. Professional streamers, people.
Professional streamers. You're so silly.
Oh, and you need to go under me. There we go.
Oh. Oh.
Not like that. Yes, I can't say that on screen.
Tit?
You know what I was gonna say, probably. Anyway, having thoroughly covered all of Em's furry bits, it is time to end. And see, I managed to fuck it up again. With that, it's time to end before I say anything more stupid, so I can go get some sleep. But thank you very much for joining us. And we'll catch you for a next live recording in 3 weeks' time. So until then, take good care, everyone, and we'll see you then. Good night.